All right, I'm gonna demonstrate turning these gnomes. Um, there's a lot of different ways to turn them. This is just how I turn them. I started the taller ones out, which is what we're going to do tonight, with a 12-inch block of 3x3 maple. Uh, I've already turned these round, kind of speed up the process so we can get through tonight. And I've put a tenon on these. So I rough turn them, and now I come to the body. That's kind of my first step, and I'll go ahead and put a tenon on it, and on this side, that's sized correctly because I just rough turn these real quick. So I'll put a tenon on it that will fit the hat. So I start out with a 12-inch block, and then I already have in mind what I'm going to make before I start. So then I just kind of size it to whatever I'm going to make. But on this one, I use the full 12-inch block. All right, so I'll go ahead and make this tenon. I start out by just flattening the bottom of this off, because this is what's going to set in that hat, so it needs to be flat. Yeah, just calipers. They're digital calipers. And I was just marking where my tenon needs to be. There we go. I can see. Yeah. I'm not used to this lathe or this tool rest. It's kind of a little different. That's a Badan. I don't know if anybody uses those. I like it just for stuff like this. It's kind of big and all right. I use it just like this. I don't know if you can see that. Now I may not be using it right. That's how I use it. All right, I got my tenon there cut, and I'm just making a kind of a reference mark. Uh, at 53 millimeters, because that's what I want to come down to on the top of the neck there, the head. Typically, can you hear me with the helmet on? I'm just hogging out some material here. We're going to finish sizing it once we flip it around. I like to turn that side first just because it's easier. You're not getting into that chuck. What diameter? 3x3 block. Ooh, that ain't good. Made it too small. Not a big deal. I typically make these pretty tight to with the chuck. All right, now we're going to finish the body. And really, the body on these can be whatever you want it to be. You can make short, fat ones or tall, skinny ones. You can kind of personalize them to somebody. A lot of these I just go for kind of a barrel shape. Since this is the bottom, I always try to make it a little concaved so don't rock on me. Hmm. I made a bunch of these with bottle openers. I just put a bottle opener in the bottom of it, and people seem to like those. It's pretty much useless. Nobody's going to use it for a bottle opener, but what's that? This is a 3/8. Yeah, spindle gouge. It's got a pretty tight point on the end or bevel. Uh, so we get our shape. I'm gonna make one final pass here. It's kind of a rough surface. This wrist is kind of hard to get used to. All right. So, anyways, that's a rough kind of example there of the body. Okay, so this is just the body of a gnome. Here's some examples. A gnome. Yeah, so it's you can do whatever kind of design you want with the body. So you can have a short, fat, stocky bottom. You could have a little taller, skinny guy. This guy's kind of a totally different shape. The body can be whatever you want it to be. And, if you got yeah. So we got that tenon we cut, and it's just going to match up with the hat. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this real quick. I I sanded this one. We're not going to sand here. And this is all I do to finish them. I don't put any effort into them really. The question was, where do I get the hair? Hobby Lobby. Uh, they sell all different kinds, colors. I just put a little oil on it, little boiled linseed oil. They sell all different kinds. They come in these squares. Uh, I should have brought some in. And then I just put some of this Yorkshire grit on here, kind of buff it out. They sell the two different types of paste. One's supposed to be super fine. I don't know. I kind of like it just for stuff like this. It's quick, simple. It's not going to be handled that much, so I don't think it needs like a heavy lack or anything like that. Plus time, right? Yeah, so I use both of these. The Yorkshire. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I use the black and the white. Yeah, I just use it right then. And then I'm done. That's it. All right, so there's our body. Now we're going to make the top. I did not bring I did we're not going to turn the nose tonight. I'm not going to have time to do that, but I did make a nose. And all I did was I took like a piece of inch and a quarter square stock, turned a little round button. I tend to use a 7 millimeter drill bit for all this kind of stuff. Um, comes in the pin kits. I find it's easier just to use that for ornaments, stuff like this. That's my go-to. I take a 7 millimeter wrench. When I spin the nose, I take a 7 millimeter wrench and size that, and it works every time. So, all right. So for this one, I wasn't sure if I could do this on this lathe with this big, so I went ahead and turned my recesses on the bottom of this. So again, I um, had it on here. Huh? Oop, sorry. Okay. So I rough turned this round. I went ahead and turned my recesses so it fit on the chuck. Sorry. Let's see. See, I couldn't hear it. All right, so this is the bottom of our hat. We're going to turn it up. We're going to turn one of these kind of taller ones like this. That's kind of the goal. We'll see how we do. I'm just going to use a roughing gouge. Ooh. With those tall hats, you kind of waste a lot of material, but okay. So I got it roughed down. Figure out these rest here. What works best. Anybody got any questions about this? Not a Probably not the best at explaining it, so throw out a question if you got one. On this one, I think we're going to try to make our smallest point here in the center of the cap. I never can match those up perfect, but it's within sandpaper. I try to make that ball look like it's resting on top. It's just a 3/8 inch detail gouge. Okay. All right, so this is where I would do my sanding. Yes, I don't know if you want. Okay. So I went ahead and I turned another one. I sanded it, and yeah. Well, I didn't use the rough and gouge the whole time. I used a half inch. Um, yeah, this is just a half inch gouge, spindle gouge. Yeah, that's what I did with that. So we get it. This one I sanded up. We're ready for color. So we'll do some color real quick. All right. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, so we're going to try to do that kind of color combination. It's fairly simple. I found a new resource for my coloring pad. Um, it's completely free, and I'm sure everybody's got some. It's in your wife's closet where she keeps her makeup. Uh, completely free. Comes out of different budgets, not the woodshop budget. Well, you don't talk about it. You just take it. Okay. And I didn't know anything about these things, and they come in bags, these great big bags of them. And I found it in the closet, and I said, "Whoa, I need some of those." So, so I start out with my lightest color and put it down first on this one. So we're going to start with the yellow, and then we'll put our red, and we'll put some other color on there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is just alcohol ink. You can get it at Hobby Lobby, anywhere else probably. This is a yellow. And I kind of drag a little bit. Just make some lines. Not everything though. Good enough. Some days I don't wear gloves when I come in and my hands are all different colors. So I recommend using some gloves. Here's our red. What stuff? The these dabs? Oh, bags. I don't know. It was a bunch. There was about 200 in this thing. Yeah, yeah, they're free. Just alcohol ink. Yeah, that's all it is. You can get it at any Hobby Lobby or craft store. Um, I've kind of been experimenting with. Yeah. Oh, I knew I was going to forget something. Yes, I was going to bring alcohol because that's how I blend this, and we didn't do it. So I kind of start streaking it towards the middle, and then I'll just put a couple little spots up top. Last night when I was getting everything ready, I knew I was going to forget something. That's what it was. So my third color, I come back with something real dark. We're using a purple on this one. And then, so really I'm just on this one, we're just going to get the edge here. Just a couple spots. And then that's it. This is where I would get that alcohol and blend it. We'll try oil. I don't know if it will work. So we come through and blend it the way we want it. If you don't like it, you can sand it off super easy. 320 to take it off within a minute or two. So it's really not very deep in the wood. We'll give it a minute. And once I'm done, whatever dark color I do on the bottom, I'll just put on the rim of the hat. I don't think anybody would even see it if you didn't. I'll spray the hat with a little lacquer, let it set for a day. And then I'll come back with the Yorkshire. What I found with like the Yorkshire and stuff, you can spray lacquer on it. It's in the dusty shop. I don't really care if stuff like this. I don't care if it gets dust on it. I'll spray it with lacquer, let it dry, and this tends to shine it up real nice. This Yorkshire grit. So this one's a little rough, but it ain't bad. There we go. Huh? Hot glue. Yep. I glue the noses and the arms and stuff with super glue. I want it to hold a little better. But everything else is kind of just hot glue. It's craft stuff. Yeah, so like I turned the little paintbrush and um, the rake I didn't do. Let's see, the little staff, the arms, the pipe. So you can turn all those little accessories. Um, and they're fun to do, and people tend to like them. So you want to pass that around? Honestly, I started making these like 2 weeks ago. I've never made one before. My wife came to me like a week before Christmas. She says, "Hey, can you make one of these?" I said, "Well, let me try." So I made one, and she says, "I need 7 more for all my admin team." And I said, "Okay." And then she wanted it specifically for each person. Um, so we customized them for each individual person, which was kind of neat, I guess. But that's something that somebody could do, for family members or shows or seasons. springtime, summer, whatever. Well, that's it. Any questions?